Over 20 years of building experience. Hello everyone, let's take a look at how the Sony cameras have changed over the years. And just before we start, I know that the ZV-e10 isn't the newest or the best Sony camera, but that's what I have and that should be enough for this comparison. The Sony ZV-e10 camera is built with the needs of content creators, particularly vloggers in mind. It features a 24-megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor and a highly reliable AF system with face and night detection. It captures 4K 30 frames per second video, and it also offers high-speed shooting capabilities up to 1080p 120 frames per second. ZV-e10 is equipped with above standard microphone to maybe not replace but reduce the needs for external mics. The audio from this microphone is decent and the set even includes a dead cat, but there is nothing stopping you from connecting an external mic via a built-in 3.5mm microphone jack. In contrast to the Mavica, this camera has interchangeable lenses. The Mavica has 6x digital zoom, but the built-in optics are no match for hundreds of dollars lenses. Now that I mentioned the Sony FD Mavica, let's take a step back in time and take a look at this classic camera. The Sony FD Mavica is a camera from the 90s. It was certainly a groundbreaking product. It was loaded with features, including the most important one, saving on a 3.5-inch floppy disk. The Sony Mavica had a video output, a DC input and USB. Interestingly, the Sony FD Mavica also supported Sony's memory stick cards. However, in my opinion, this feature somehow defeats the purpose of using Mavica. To be honest, I was really surprised when I first found out that such a device exists. I haven't heard the sound of a floppy drive in a dozen of years, so when I first started the device, I was as happy as a child. But enough. Let's get back to the topic. So the camera supported photos resolution up to 1600 by 1200 and it could hold as much as 3 photos of such size. It's not a lot, but you can take more low-res photos and also could encourage you to take better photos. It's not that easy to produce a ton of burst images with it. The Sony ZV-e10 with its 24-megapixel APS-C sensor is capable of capturing high-resolution images with excellent details. It also has a wide dynamic range and good low-light performance, which allows it to capture well-exposed images in a variety of light conditions. On the other hand, the Sony FD Mavica, being a product of the late 90s, has a much lower resolution and narrower dynamic range. Its low light performance is also not as good as modern cameras. Well, no, I can't say that. That's an understatement, it was bad. However, the images it produces have a unique vintage look that some people might find appealing. I will say more, when you provide a lot of good quality light from the outside, these photos turned out quite well even by today's standards. But that's probably not the point in a device for enthusiasts, as I think who it was aimed at. Alright, it's finally time to compare the photos from these two contenders. Oh, and did I mention that Mavica can also record videos? Well, let's get back to that after the photos. To sum it all up, I really like this camera. Sure, the Mavica has its flaws, but honestly they don't really matter. It has a unique charm that's really hard to explain. Of course, when it comes to pure image quality, a modern camera blows it out of the water. And it would be strange if it didn't, but this is one of those cameras that doesn't just capture footage. It captures vibe, presence, and that's what makes it special. Big thanks to the owner for letting me borrow it for this video, and to you, thanks for sticking around till the end.